Ref app.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Grayson, I don't know if this came across your feed yet. It certainly came across mine, and it felt like a little piece of me died yesterday. I was yesterday years old when I realized that we are discontinuing the penny.
Yeah, why?
The penny is no longer being produced.
Yeah, I saw this. Why?
I would assume because inflation has become such that we don't really need the penny anymore. Can round everything off to the nearest nickel and you're good to go. I mean, I'll be honest. Maybe this is not how everybody operates. This is just my slightly OCD brain.
Mm-hmm.
If I ever get the option to round something off to the nearest dollar when I'm making a purchase, I always round it off to the nearest dollar.
Okay, I do something similar to that.
Okay.
When I'm at a restaurant and I'm tipping, right? So say something comes up to $17.64, right?
Mm-hmm.
After tax. So I'll tip. So I guess what would the tip be on that? Let's just say somewhere around $4, right? So instead of just saying $4 and my total being $21.64, I'll do $4.36 and just pay $22 flat dollars.
Yes, that's always what I've done as well. There's something right, something harmonious about rounding a figure off to the nearest dollar. So it's something I've already done. I don't really, I don't think about the fact that it's costing me an extra 20, 30 cents, whatever it may be. I just instinctively round it off to the nearest dollar because I'm just like, it's not that big a deal. Eagle Nicky and Kevin from the 469 and JT in Tulsa and several other texters on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line pointing out the obvious economic reason why production of the penny has stopped, and that's because it costs more than 1 cent to make a penny. So
see, I actually didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's been that way for a long time, though. Like, that's not a new phenomenon, so it's just kind of odd to me. Like, if that were the only reason why they were discontinuing production of the penny in 2025, I would find that surprising. I think it just has more to do with the fact that, you know, everything – for instance, think about the phenomenon of the dollar menu, which you and I grew up with, Grayson.
Yep.
Nobody has a dollar menu anymore.
Nope.
Man, whenever I go out to eat, whenever I want to buy a meal, a half-decent meal,
right,
you're spending $12 to $15.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to be the case, you know, when I was in high school and I was working late-night shifts at the radio station and I needed to grab something to eat on my break, I would just drive a quarter mile up the road to Chick-fil-A, and I would spend $7.01, and that's what it cost for a meal at Chick-fil-A, $7.01.
You remember this? Somebody posted this on Twitter the other day. You remember when a chicken bowl or a chicken burrito at Chipotle was like $6.35?
I do
before
remember
tax?
that. I didn't frequent Chipotle growing
See,
up.
I've been eating at Chipotle ever since I was in middle school.
Okay.
I was looking back at that, and I was like, man, we have hustled so far backwards.
LG Sooner 63 says, every time I make a purchase with my debit card, I round it up to the nearest dollar in my registry. Then at the end of the year, I have about $500 to $600 extra. Chestnut checkers, LG Sooner. Well done.
That is well done, actually.
U.S. Army Sooner says, why? Because pennies cost 4 times what they are worth. The country loses almost 4 cents for every penny minted. We quit the half-penny coin 150 years ago. It was overdue. It's gotten to the point, Grayson, in my life where I don't carry change anymore.
I don't carry cash.
Really?
None
whatsoever?
I haven't carried cash in a minute.
See, there are certain instances, and I wish I could come up with an example. It used to be the case that on toll roads in Oklahoma, you could only pay cash if you didn't have a Pike Pass. And so I would have to have cash on me in case I ever needed to drive a toll road because I did not have a Pike Pass at the time. There are certain instances in which you may run into a vendor or a situation, maybe a parking meter or whatever, where you have to have cold hard cash to execute the transaction. So cash is worth having on hand. But man, when I was in high school, I drove a 2001 Ford Taurus. I had a center console with a change drawer, and that thing was chock full of change. And, you go spend it at Sonic or whatever during happy hour.
Yeah.
Go get you a Sonic drink. I don't have change in my car anymore. I don't have change anywhere.
Nope.
Anymore. Everything's becoming digitized. I saw today that Apple is trying to introduce digital ID, and I'm like, nope, none of that. Stop with that.
See, at that point, I feel like we're pushing it. Like, I like having my insurance card on my phone. I like that. I like having my debit and my credit card in my Apple Wallet. Digital IDs is where I'm gonna be like, okay, pump the brakes here.
I do not want Apple or any other corporation to have all of my personal data. Now, they probably already have the majority of it.
I was about to say, how much
they
do
probably
they already
have the majority of it. But I don't want them having all of it. I'm going to need to take the plunge and buy LifeLock one of these days because so much of our data is way too easily accessible. I'm starting to sound like Steely here. We got to get back on track. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to chime in throughout the show. The show brought to you today by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. If you're looking around, exploring, perusing the market for a new vehicle, Dorsey Jones is where you need to go because GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and you can get outstanding service at Dorsey Jones as well, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. So, make the short drive out to El Reno and check out Dorsey Jones. Oh, boy, here we go.
This texter in the 405 says, you normies have no idea what's coming down the pike for humans on this earth. Total control and surveillance. Keep focusing on sports, you idiots.
By the way, that texter has never texted before.
I was going to say, that is the first text he has ever sent into the station.
Never received a text from that listener until you normies have no idea what's coming down the pike for humans on this earth. Total control and surveillance. Keep focusing on sports, you idiots. He definitely has an underground bunker, doesn't he?
Yes, 100%.
He's got an underground bunker somewhere. Captain Ward says, bet you youngsters use biometrics to open your phones, though. Listen, Captain
Damn
Ward,
right.
It just makes everything easier.
Makes a lot of things easier.
Hey, brand new series of expert predictions yesterday in favor of Oklahoma from some of the country's most credible recruiting experts. As we'd long discussed, Taven Epps' recruitment was looking pretty good for Oklahoma. It has been apparent for a matter of weeks now that Taven Epps is going to wind up in Oklahoma's 2027 class. That's my expectation there. And there were several predictions yesterday from national experts in reflection of that. But we finally got somebody to break the dam on Messiah Mickens, Grayson. Rivals national recruiting analyst Adam Gorney finally went on record with a prediction saying, I think Oklahoma is going to flip four-star Penn State running back commit Messiah Mickens. Is DeMarco Murray about to become Mr. Steelio running back? Because this would be the first flip for Murray as a position coach at the University of Oklahoma, and I have to imagine he spent 1 year at Arizona before coming to OU. I would have to imagine this is his first flip period, or would be his first flip period. When we look back at the scholarship signees at running back for Oklahoma under DeMarco Murray, Javonte Barnes, Gavin Sawchuk, Dalen Smothers, Caleb Hicks, Taylor Tatum, Xavier Robinson, Torrey Blaylock. All pretty straightforward recruitments. I guess you did technically have to talk Tatum down off a silent commitment to USC, but Skip Johnson was heavily influential in communicating to Taylor Tatum that, hey, basically all of what Lincoln Riley told you last week about how he balanced a two-sport schedule for Kyler Murray at Oklahoma was totally bogus, and I was the one doing the vast majority of the management in that department. So that was a Skip Johnson, DeMarco Murray collab effort with Taylor Tatum. And, of course, he was never publicly committed to USC. So if Oklahoma were to seal the deal with Mickens, this would be the first flip of the Murray era at Oklahoma, and what a huge one it would be, man. DeZephan Walker's a good player. No question about it. Blue chipper. But he's Oklahoma's only commit right now at running back in the 26 cycle. If you recall, earlier in the cycle, they lost longtime commit Jonathan Hatton, who wound up committing to Texas A&M several months later. And so for Oklahoma, they're in a position where, given the current depth on the roster at running back, you'd like to see them land two if they can get two. Messiah Mickens, that's about best case scenario if you're looking for a second back besides DeZephan Walker in this class. And things are trending in the right direction. We know this concretely.
DeMarco. He's about to become more polarizing on these airways, especially, by the way, if Oklahoma duplicates what they did to Alabama in 2024 on Saturday, and then you pull off a flip like this, like, what do you say about DeMarco at this point? Like, he's become very, very conflicting, hasn't he? Because there are times where he leaves you scratching your head like, what is going on here with how you're deploying the guys on the field and whatnot? You got dudes in there who can't pass block when they should be able to, and you got dudes who can't get a rhythm. But then on the other hand, come the end of seasons, your running backs are performing well to the point where the offense is bouncing off of them. And then comes the recruiting thing of it all, where you're going into a kid, offering him, and then getting him committed in a span of 35 days, and then you flip a kid from Penn State who's from Pennsylvania. He's giving us every reason to not want him here and every reason to keep him here at the same time. It's wild. All I know is this. If he can just get the right players on the field consistently, that is his only bugaboo right now. That's it. If he can correct that one thing, your room doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be the best in the country. But we know you can recruit. We know you can recruit your behind off. And we know you can get talent on the field. Can you get them on the field at the one time? That's it. That's it. But he's becoming really confusing for me to talk about now.
Sooner Soldier says, once DeMarco gets a hold of Mickens, he won't be a good running back anymore. Somebody else has said, DeMarco is used to stealing things from others. # spray tan.
I was gonna leave that joke alone.
Very nice.
I was going to leave that one
580
alone.
Trey says, wonder if DeMarco had previously watched Mickens' tape when considering the Penn State job last year. Probably, there was never anything all that serious between DeMarco and Penn State. It was a lot more serious. I think it was the previous offseason when there was buzz that he might wind up the new running backs coach at Ohio State. That was real. Oklahoma had to fight off Ohio State for DeMarco Murray. Not as much so with Penn State. And then Penn State went and hired Stan Drayton, who, of course, is one of the more revered running backs coaches in the country and was coming off a very ill-fated stint as the head coach at Temple. And so all's well that ends well. I think Penn State was probably satisfied with the outcome that they got, and Oklahoma was more than satisfied with the outcome that they got, being able to retain DeMarco Murray for another year. Michael and Marlowe says it feels like it always takes Bill Bedenbaugh and DeMarco 6+ games to figure it out. Yeah, that's maybe not the most encouraging trend, and it has been a trend in years past, no question. I guess what I would say in response to that is everybody, every team, every program, every offense is figuring stuff out at the beginning of the year. And also, DeMarco and Bill Bedenbaugh have had their rooms snake-bitten by injuries, more so than is the norm, more so than is customary the last few years. So they've had to deal with things. It's not just – it hasn't been a case where DeMarco Murray and Bill Bedenbaugh are shuffling their respective decks just to shuffle them, where they're frantically trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. No, they're having to react in real time to attrition at their respective position groups. Guys being unavailable, Guys, in some cases, not being up to snuff, not living up to expectations. Jaden not. Uh-huh. So I get. Do I completely absolve Bill Bedenbaugh and DeMarco Murray of responsibility in that regard? No, but I'm also not going to hold them as responsible as some who tend to think along the lines of that texter would.
Let me ask you this, or let me point this out rather.
Okay.
Here's where we can give DeMarco immense credit. He rode the hot hand with Torrey Blaylock. He didn't try to force Jaden Knott to us. Remember this. Jaden Knott was never forced on the field. They gave him his opportunities, but they never undercut what we saw in Torrey Blaylock to get him on the field because we're paying you X amount of dollars. And then as the season has gone on through the back end, they've rode the hot hand of Xavier Robinson. It's not DeMarco's fault that John Mateer threw that pass that was picked off in the Tennessee game. Like he had the right guy on the field. And once he seems to find a flow, and once he seems to find what's working in his room, at least for 2025, he's done a decent job sticking to it. So I got to give him credit for that.
CD from Hockley says, well, with Barnes and Tatum transferring, DeMarco only has X and Blaylock. Even he can't screw up the running back rotation. And I think one of the things that we had discussed in preseason, that we've discussed the last couple of years with regard to Murray and the Oklahoma running back room, is perhaps a little paralysis by analysis, where there's too much talent in the room, too many guys that are on a comparable level, and you have to try and find touches for all of them instead of just identifying a guy that's your lead back and rolling with him.
Mm-hmm.
Or just finding two guys. And I think Oklahoma's most successful backfields in the 21st century have come when Oklahoma has a tandem approach. Not necessarily running back by committee, but two backs that they can lean on. We've seen so many examples of this over the years. DeMarco Murray was a member of a fantastic backfield tandem with Chris Brown in 2008. Moses Madu was also there on the roster, and he contributed meaningfully for that team as well. But it was the DeMarco Murray-Chris Brown show. And then you think to more contemporary, more recent days, Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, Rodney Anderson and Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks and Ramondre Stevenson in 2019, Kennedy Brooks and Eric Gray in 2021. There have been so many great tandems at the University of Oklahoma over the years in the backfield, and I feel like X and Torrey Blaylock might be the two guys that comprise that tandem for the next year or two here at the University of Oklahoma. Got to find complementary pieces. Can't count on those guys being fully healthy and fully available for the next two seasons, obviously. But provided you can come up with some supplemental depth via the portal or via the recruiting trail, and landing Messiah Mickens alongside Zeph and Walker would go a long way in that department. Xavier Robinson and Torrey Blaylock, it would seem, provides you a really strong nucleus with which to proceed over the next couple of years.
Do you want to get one more in here?
Sure.
U.S. Army Sooners says, I'm not buying it, Grayson. It shouldn't take 8 to 9 games to figure out your running back rotation. And to that, I would say, I don't think it's taken 8 to 9 games to figure this out. So if you want to go back to the Temple game, Torrey Blaylock, 14 carries for 100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
The next game was the Auburn game where he ran the ball 11 times. Now, John Mateer, remember, was the leading rusher in that game. And that game was the John Mateer show. But in terms of the backfield, Torrey Blaylock was the featured guy. Torrey Blaylock was the featured guy against Kent State and against Texas and against South Carolina. But they found something that worked in the Ole Miss game with Xavier Robinson. And then who was the featured back in the Tennessee game? It was also Xavier Robinson. So I don't think it's taken 8 to 9 games if we isolate it to just this season. It took them 2 games to find out that Torrey Blaylock was the dude, and they ran with him, and then game plans change, matchups change, opponents change, and
Xavier Robinson gets healthy.
And Xavier Robinson got healthy as well, and they've ran him the last 2 games. We'll see what the plan is going to be like for Saturday, but I do think if you just take the trends of this season, they've mixed and matched based on who's going to work well in what game.
And I think we all understand in retrospect, more so than we did at the time, what's going on with Javonte Barnes' situation and the reason why we haven't seen him over the last month plus. And so I have much less beef with how DeMarco has managed his running back room than I did with how he managed it in 2024 and 2023. I actually have very little beef with how he's managed it on the whole. And, you know, I had some emotional knee-jerk reactions after the Texas game when I think we all were sitting there wondering, why on earth weren't you playing Javonte Barnes when he's your best pass protector there in the backfield? And now that we're a month removed from that, I think we can all understand why Javonte Barnes didn't play and hasn't played. 405-651-3439 is the text line. Much more ahead. This is Locked In here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. We'll hit a break, come right back, keep it here.
The Ref Radio Sports Network is powered statewide by the insurance adjusters at Brown O'Haver. Fire, wind, theft, or tornado, we can help. Call 405-735-5510.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
They don't want to hire you because your paper might say Oklahoma School for the Blind.
I was just completely homebound because I was always too afraid to go outside. I want to be a productive member of society, and that's what DRS has given me.
They offer you opportunities to getting a job, helping you learn how to advocate for yourself, find the best way to try living your life in the fullest way possible.
Oklahoma and DRS has been the biggest blessing in my life.
See me.
And not my disability.
Sidelined by injury? Valor Physical Therapy and H2 Health Company can help. Our therapists use their knowledge and skills to help get you back in the game faster. Book your appointment now at valorpt.com or call 405-609-3637. No referral needed. Mention the Ref and get a free t-shirt at your first appointment. That's valorpt.com.
This is Jake Aldridge, partner at Aldridge Teasdale. We know accidents happen when you least expect them, but if you're injured, your path to recovery and justice starts with the right attorney by your side. At Aldridge Teasdale, we understand that every injury is personal and that every story matters. You deserve an advocate who will fight for you. But don't wait. If you need medical assistance, you need to get it now, and we can help you with access to the best doctors in Oklahoma. Call Aldridge Teasdale today, 405-447-HURT. That's 405-447-4878.
Hi Norman, it's DJ Newsom with Alliance Bank, your community-driven, friendly neighborhood bank. Whether you're a budding entrepreneur, lead a nonprofit organization, or just someone seeking a better banking experience, we've got you covered. From business to personal banking, we tailor our services to suit everyone's needs. We believe in making banking easy and enjoyable. Visit our Norman location or call us today at 405-286-5750. Alliance Bank, banking tailored to your needs. Member FDIC.
The Mont invites you to come by and enjoy our high-quality food and drinks in our historic atmosphere. The Mont has won numerous awards, including Best Restaurant in Norman, Best Appetizer for our great queso, Best Exotic Drink for the original swirl, the Best Patio Dining for our beautifully landscaped patio. Come see the Town Tavern, OU football scoreboards dating back to 1947. We'll see you at the Mont on the corner of Boyd and Classen, or call us at 329-3330.
Let's talk turkey. Riverwind is OKC's favorite place to play.
And we've got plenty of jackpots to be thankful for.
Why stop at one thrill when you can chase all three at once?
Play blackjack, baccarat, and roulette on our all-new gaming machine.
Looking for the best in rewards? Elevate your player status when you win with your wild card.
Fridays in November, play for your share of our $120,000 Pixel Power giveaway.
Expect the best at Riverwind.
Hey, it's Darian Oka for Totally Tickets. Hey, Ref Army, you looking for the best place to buy tickets to your next OU game, Thunder game, or the best concerts? My friend Mike, call him Fletch at Totally Tickets has you covered. Visit TotallyTickets.com to find your event today. Oh, and good news, Ref Army, just type in the promo code KREF and get up to 10% off your purchase. Go to TotallyTickets.com now. They are the best.
Absolutely terrible news for Oklahoma heading into the Alabama game this weekend. I mean, just a completely brutal stroke of luck here. Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer, Mr. Singleton, has discovered fire. And by fire, I mean the 4-letter word. This is a real story that cropped up today on the Alabama 24/7 site. From a writer by the name of Alex Scarborough, who does a good job covering Alabama. But the title of the story is Kalen DeBoer and the Science of Swearing. Now,
say what now?
Let me hash this out. Let me flesh this out a little further.
All right.
Kalen DeBoer is quite famously a South Dakotan and a very mild-mannered individual. The type that does not characteristically use 4-letter words and hasn't in the past. I am quoting from Scarborough's story, which is free to read at Bama 24/7. Well, not anymore. After talking to multiple people in and around the program, I can tell you that DeBoer has utilized the occasional expletive this season. Not all the time, mind you, but enough to surprise some staff members who were around him in previous seasons. And no, DeBoer telling his team before the Georgia game last year that we're tough as hell didn't count. If you can say a word in church without fear of incurring the Almighty's wrath, it's not a cuss word. That was child's play compared to the pregame speeches I've heard about. Some of the positive effect of swearing is backed up by actual science. And in this story, Scarborough cites and quotes a couple of doctors with whom he met to discuss the scientific effects of swearing. One of the quotes from one of the doctors reads as follows. Especially when an authority figure will break taboo, i.e. swear. It's almost like he's saying that I trust you enough to swear in front of you. It decreases any sort of formality with that exchange. So players are more likely to be themselves, authentic. They're less likely to be reserved. It heightens emotion. And when that happens, you're more confident. You're more likely to be focused and engaged in whatever tasks are in front of you. You're less worried about outside noise because I have the solidarity of my team. They have my back. They understand me because we have this risky taboo thing we've engaged in, i.e. swearing. He cited a study in a healthcare setting where some patients said that swearing by a provider could allow them to connect with a demographic other than theirs. Like, oh, he's human. There's empathy. There's raw, authentic emotion. He's portraying that, yeah, I feel the same way. He gets us, which makes sense in a coach-player relationship too. DeBoer is a middle-aged white man from South Dakota who makes $10 million a year. Every part of that sentence is a gap that needs to be cleared with his roster, and swearing helps because it's relatable across age, race, geography, and financial demographics. All right, folks, Bama by 40. It's over.
Well, I'll say this. In terms of connecting across race, there is one 5-letter, maybe 6-letter word that he probably shouldn't try to do to connect with some of the majority of his players. But
I would think if he had, he probably would have been dismissed by now.
I'm going to assume that he has not crossed that line. But in all seriousness, though, no, I do think there is truth to that because you look at Alabama from last year and Alabama from this year, there seems to be more of a flow and a more connectivity with this Alabama team than it was last year. Like last year, a lot didn't feel right with Alabama.
It's because Kalen DeBoer wasn't cussing,
and this year there is. Now, I don't know if Kalen DeBoer using 4-letter words actually is, part of the turnaround there, but I do think there is some truth to what Alex Scarborough pointed out there. And I will say this. My mom, when I was playing growing up, whether it was AAU or school ball, my mom hated when my coaches cursed around us because obviously you're talking about grown men and high schoolers. But I think back on it, and the coaches I connected with the most and my favorite coach that ever coached me both curse like sailors. Now, I don't know if there's a correlation there, but those were the dudes that got the most out of me. And I don't know why it was. Maybe it was because it didn't feel so formal with the communication. So I do think there's a lot of truth to that.
Craig in Cleveland says, that effing article is dead on balls accurate. It might be over, folks. Oklahoma might be walking to the guillotine this Saturday. Swearing Kalen DeBoer is going to have that team ready to dominate. There's more expletives on the text line right now than I have ever seen. Yes, they're all leaning into the bit, which I appreciate.
This is not. And you know what, man? I'm glad somebody did an article on that because, there seems to be a lot of truth to that.
A 703 listener says, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Evan from Blanchard said, BV should call Jaden Ott a expletive to test the theory. Maybe Jaden Ott hasn't been sworn at enough. Is that the reason?
Hey, I know we got to get back to recruiting, but when you were reading that, by the way, a text from the 405 says they were used to Saban dog cussing.
Hey, you know maybe.
What? Before we get back to recruiting, what does BV curse a whole lot?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Even Youth Pastor Chavis will be ripping off 4-letter words in pregame. Pretty much everybody on staff does it.
You know what? And sometimes, and I know we're in the South, we're in the Bible Belt, so this may not be received well. And I tried to convince my mom of this the entire time I was playing. Sometimes that's appropriate. Sometimes in sports, that type of language is appropriate.
Craig in Cleveland says, I teach first grade. Wonder if that would work for me. Greg, let's probably not apply that to every single profession. Case-by-case basis. But no, I mean, look, different coaches have different styles. We actually were talking about it earlier in the week when we brought up Lon Kruger. Lon Kruger, famously, when he was at Oklahoma, I'm not convinced that man's ever used a 4-letter word in his life. And he certainly didn't let his players cuss either. Now, can you control that when they're out on the court and you can't hear every word they're saying? No, but if you showed up to an OU basketball practice, as I did several times when Kruger was the coach, you would not hear a 4-letter word. And if you did, Kruger would be saying, aw shucks to the player in question.
Speaking of not cursing in basketball, do you see AJ DeBansa at BYU got suspended for a half game?
Did he really?
For cursing in
Well,
I need to double check and make sure that didn't come from a spam account.
It probably did.
And I actually, now that I think of it, it did. But it would be hilarious.
Papa Boganowski says, winning connects across race, SMDH.
That is true, too.
Whatever it takes to win.
The
right?
connecting across race part was a little bit interesting to me. That was kind of a I didn't say it at first, but I was like, well, that's interesting. I don't know what the science behind that would lead you to believe.
A listener in Virginia says, F the turnover battle. Now we have the cursing battle. BV can steal, quote-unquote, signs by reading lips and up his game based on what Alabama's saying. BV got to cuss twice for every cuss word that Kalen DeBoer uses. It's the only thing that's going to push Oklahoma over the hump on Saturday. Got to outswear the opposition. Swear like a champion today.
So are we getting all the players mic'd up for Saturday? Is that what
Got
we're doing?
to.
Lane on the YouTube chat says Lon Kruger's practices were a lot of double doo-doo.
Hey, they won games, though.
They did win a lot of games.
Lon was in the tournament every dang year, man.
As Mars James points out, Lon got to the Final Four. Also, JG says, what am I hearing? He said that while you were reading the article.
Yep. You're hearing Kalen DeBoer and the science of swearing, courtesy of Bama 24/7.
Now,
Free to read if you want to go check it out.
I will say, by the way, because there was a lot of research done into that. That is well done journalism there by Alex Scarborough.
A 740 listener, that's the state of Ohio, says, a friend of mine was on the O-line the last 2 years. I can promise you Bill Bedenbaugh curses enough for all the coaches. Yes and
I
amen.
would imagine.
Yes and amen. I don't know if there is a coach on staff that rips off profanities with quite the frequency that Bill Bedenbaugh does. But his guys respond to it, man. That's Bill Bedenbaugh. He's an old-school ball coach. If you can't handle getting your butt chewed, you don't last at the University of Oklahoma as an offensive lineman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the guys that are willing to submit to that tough coaching and have the thick skin and can handle it, history shows those guys go pretty far under Bedenbaugh's tutelage.
And you know Bedenbaugh loves those dudes too, man.
He does.
Yeah.
He does, and that's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, 100%. A lot of people on the text line and a lot of people on the YouTube chat asking about Jaden Jackson appearing on the availability report.
Very understandable that they would be asking that. I have been told per multiple sources, that wasn't a surprise. It was a surprise when he was listed as questionable, I'll be honest, last night. I figured he was going to be listed as probable because the full expectation is that he's going to play Saturday. He did suffer a banged up foot on the practice field earlier this week. Again, not expected to impact his availability, but yeah, he's dealing with a little bit of a foot issue right now. Does that mean he's perhaps on a snap count Saturday? It could. The good thing for Oklahoma is that Jaden Jackson is not a guy that you have to lean on to play 60 snaps a game because you have David Stone and you have Grayson Halton and you have Dominic Williams. So I haven't gotten the sense that the foot injury is going to seriously inhibit Jaden Jackson's effectiveness Saturday against Alabama. And yes, just to assuage any major concerns there, I am under the impression right now that he is going to play.
Brad says, what about R. Mason Thomas?
R. Mason Thomas is more than likely out. I do not expect him to play in this football game.
A texter in the 972 says, kids used to respond to Cale Gundy's words until never mind.
Tough.
Mm-hmm.
405-651-3439 is the text line. Keep filling it up. Final segment of Locked In is on tap. Let's hit a quick break, hear from our fine sponsors, and we shall return here on Locked In.
A true Sooner fan wouldn't be caught dead without the KREF app. Join the Army. Get the app. Tell your friends. This is The Ref, where diehard Sooner fans listen.
I wanted to use the Oklahoma Tobacco Helpline because I knew that I could get resources for free. I didn't realize there would be a coach. And that was awesome because you have someone calling you consistently, making sure that you're accountable. It felt like I was talking to a friend. It was a very easy experience for me. So yeah, it was a very key part to my success in quitting smoking.
Call us at 1-800-QUIT-NOW to get started, a program of TSAT.
Feeling stuck in your current home? Now is the best time to make a move. Home Creations is making home ownership more affordable with low interest rate opportunities and special financing. Don't wait. Live like a champion today. Call Holly at 405-364-9999 to find your dream home.
364-9999, it's Home Creations.
I'm Oklahoma Sooner quarterback John Mateer. My job is to move the ball down the field and get the Sooners across the goal line. If you've been injured in an auto accident, you need a pro to be the quarterback of your medical care needs. Dr. Martin Lopez and the OKC Car Crash Clinic are your premier teammates to help you on your road to recovery. Dr. Lopez is a specialty-trained MD with decades of experience. Make your best play call and contact Dr. Lopez at 405-86-CRASH. That's 405-862-7274 or visit okccrash.com.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Whether you're looking for the perfect gifts to dazzle your loved ones or choosing a present for yourself, you can rely on our elves at Mitchell's Jewelry. Explore our curated collection of Vahan bracelets, brilliant diamond studs, timeless gemstone jewelry, and the latest designer timepieces from Michelle and Shinola. Don't make Santa wonder what you want. Create your wish list online or in store. Make your holiday sparkle at Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street.
When it comes to buying a home, you need a winning game plan. At Stride Bank, our mortgage team helps you get from kickoff to closing with competitive rates, local expertise, and personalized service. Whether it's your first home or your forever home, we'll be right there on the field with you. Learn more at stridebank.com. Stride Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Stride Bank on your team since 1913 with Oklahoma roots and nationwide reach.
This Thanksgiving, we're grateful for the people in Oklahoma who keep our community moving, the hard workers, the weekend adventurers, and every family heading home for the holidays. At Confidence Ford of Norman, we're celebrating with something special. 20% off of MSRP plus 2.9% APR financing on a new 2025 Ford F-150. It's strength, reliability, and comfort built for every season. Visit us today at 825 North Interstate Drive or online at confidenceford.com. Confidence Ford of Norman, a Cavender family dealership where confidence is Cavender. Fall and football are here, which brings tons of things to smile about. Craig & Straight Orthodontics wants to help you and your family every step of the way to that beautiful smile. Craig & Straight has 3 conveniently located offices in Norman, Mustang, and South OKC. Check out our website at craigandstraight.com or give us a call to schedule your free consultation. You'll soon be on your way to that smile you've always wanted. At Craig & Straight Orthodontics, we want to see you smile, Oklahoma.
Hey, this is Tyler McComas with The Rush, and I just want to tell you about an indoor golf experience that I've never seen before, and frankly, I didn't know existed. I recently spent about 2 hours playing at Land Run Links in Oklahoma City, and I really wanted to stay there all day long. It's a golf simulator, but better. It has 300 courses to offer, and one of the many great things about Land Run Links is it's for all skill levels. Check them out today, landrunlinks.com. That's landrunlinks.com.
It's been a popular topic of conversation throughout the week on the text line and amongst the ref army that there's an apparent correlation between Brent Venables wearing a black hoodie at his midweek presser and an Oklahoma victory on Saturday. But we can now come to the conclusion as well that the Sooners lost to Texas and Ole Miss because Steve Sarkisian and Lane Kiffin, respectively, outswore Brent Venables. Folks, the Sooners are going to have to hashtag swear like a champion this weekend. Otherwise, you're running into a steamroller in Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide. Bring your A game, or should I say your F game. 405-651.
Oh, man.
34-39. Swear like a champion this weekend, folks. That goes for all of you as well. By the way, did you see that Twitter is introducing a new feature called Certified Bangers? Have you noticed this yet?
No.
So this just came to my attention this morning as well. Certified Bangers are apparently, like, Twitter's going to hand-pick tweets that go viral or drive a ton of interaction or whatever, and they're going to slap a Certified Banger label on them. I will read to you directly from this news story from avclub.com regarding Elon Musk and Twitter introducing Certified Bangers. There's a brand new chronically online achievement to win. A little gold badge on your profile for a month to prove you're Elon's most extra poster. Certified Bangers are ostensibly an egalitarian designation. The rules state that a post has to come from a personal account and be purely original content. A certified banger can't be against the website's code of conduct. And to start, these posts can only be in English, though they plan to expand to other languages. Certified bangers are ranked, quote, by the sum of authentic interactions, which includes verified impressions, likes, bookmarks, reposts, and replies. The official Bangers account has already unveiled its top 5 bangers for October, which are all from verified accounts and include transparent engagement bait like, can y'all please tell me the lore behind your profile pictures? What a banger!
No.
I hate the internet.
No,
it's official. I hate the
hate
internet.
You know how
the internet is the worst.
You know how you know, and by the way, Bob from Cement, that is a hilarious text that I'm definitely not reading on the air. You know how a tweet is a banger? If it gets 14 million views and pops up on everybody's timelines. That's how you know it's a banger. Like, what are we doing?
I did think it was funny. Somebody posted on Twitter earlier, and I'm sanitizing here, but somebody posted that it's going to be super funny whenever somebody tweets something disparaging about Elon and it goes nuclear, and then Twitter has to nuke the whole feature.
Right.
Oh, big win today for people who are way too online.
Chris from Knoxville says, that was the most brain rot I've ever heard. Yes, it was.
Yes, it was, Chris. This is life these days. Folks, I can't say it enough. Get away from screens.
Johnny on the YouTube chat says he wants to know about, or actually, JG, 2027 QBs. Where is OU at? I've seen a lot of the rival sites already committed. I don't like the idea of skipping years like Muleshoe did. Basically, he's saying 27 quarterbacks, some of which you have already committed.
I mean, it's not something Oklahoma has figured out yet. I expect that they're going to take a high school quarterback in the 27 class. I don't think they're going to just throw their hands up and say, well, we didn't get Peyton Houston, let's just go to the portal. No, I expect that they're going to take a quarterback. Could it be somebody like Dane Weber, who's visiting campus next week for the Missouri game, blue chipper from out west, a guy like Jamison Roberts, maybe an in-state talent like Graydon Howell, whom we talked about earlier in the week and is a guy that I like a lot. There's a lot of different directions Oklahoma could go. We're over a year out from signing day. It's not something that they have to have figured out right this second. Bo Bentley didn't lock in with Oklahoma until late June, less than 6 months before signing day. So there is time aplenty for Oklahoma to get that thing squared away. And look, at the University of Oklahoma, there's never going to be a shortage of talented quarterbacks that want to come wear the crimson and cream. The program recruits itself at that position. By the way, we have a new offer to discuss. A new offer, a new target for Oklahoma that is working on lining up a visit right now. Now, he hasn't publicly posted the offer, but can confirm it has occurred. And the individual in question, Grayson Singleton, is former Duke commit Dane Bathurst. 6'4", 235 pounds, originally from the Tampa area, now playing his high school ball in Carmel, Indiana. He decommitted from Duke this morning.
Yep.
Not too long after Oklahoma reached out and extended him a scholarship offer. So, this is yet another late developing, late emerging target to keep an eye on if you're an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah, so I'll ask you, does correlation equal causation here? Did Oklahoma reaching out prompt this to happen?
Yes and no. I think in many ways it was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Okay.
Oklahoma is not the only school and hasn't been the only school that's been working to flip Dane Bathurst. I think Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken, hosted him on an official visit in October. Louisville's been reaching out. Michigan State's been reaching out. But, you get an offer from a program like the University of Oklahoma. If you're already waffling on your decision to attend Duke based on the love that you've started to feel from some of these other schools across the P4, and then a program like Oklahoma jumps in the fray, at that point you're probably figuring, if you're in Dane Bathurst's shoes, okay, I should probably just reopen my recruitment and start to evaluate everything again before National Sign Day. He's going to be a January enrollee. So he has a very limited amount of time to figure this out. 3 weeks until early signing day. But what happens over those 3 weeks, those are going to dictate, or those things are going to dictate, where Dane Bathurst plays his college football, and there's a decent chance that's the University of Oklahoma.
And he is a damn good player. I like him as a prospect. Really violent. He kind of reminds me, the film kind of reminds you of Jake Krell a little bit. Now, I don't think, whereas Krell is a dude that you can't touch when he's rushing the passer, Bathurst is a dude that you can't stand up with. And while Krell is more slippery, he's got a nice bend, a little bit more polished in that realm, Dane Bathurst will just run right through you. I mean, he's a physically imposing dude who plays with a similar amount of violence. So that's why I compare him to Jake Krell. Krell obviously is the borderline 5-star. Dane Bathurst is a 3-star right now. I think those two are appropriate. But Dane Bathurst, man, whether it's the physical that you can see with the height and weight and what you see on film, I like the kid. I like the kid a lot, man. I mean, you're talking about an edge rusher haul for Oklahoma in 2026 and 2027 that could be pretty scary come 2028, 2029.
I love Dane Bathurst on tape.
Yeah.
And if this is the type of guy that Oklahoma can land late in the cycle, maybe he's not a year one guy with Oklahoma's current depth at edge, but he's going to be a player at the University of Oklahoma. If he does wind up a Sooner, I feel pretty confident saying that. Like, Dane Bathurst is going to be somebody. And, okay, white defensive end, it's only natural that this comparison's going to get made, but, it is true. There's a lot of Taylor Wine in his tape. And Taylor Wine has not always been 275 pounds as he is right now at OU. Senior year of high school, he was in that 240 range, which is right about where Bathurst sits, and, man, he's angry. That's a very obvious, very natural parallel to draw between him and Taylor Wine. As Wine plays angry, Dane Bathurst plays angry. Now that he's back on the open market, you don't have to worry about the school that has long held his pledge retaining it the way that you have to worry about Jaden Petit in Wisconsin, for instance. It's basically a 3-week sprint to the finish line where you got to outrun Vanderbilt, you got to outrun Louisville, Michigan State, whoever else wants to jump in the boat with an offer to Dane Bathurst. But, yeah, off the rip, we'll see what happens on the visit or if the visit comes to fruition. I have been told that Oklahoma's recruitment of Bathurst is by no means connected to the situation with Malik Franklin, the defensive end from Daphne, Alabama, that they're pursuing. The Sooners are recruiting them both independently. They would take both. And so with Bathurst, it doesn't appear to be the type of situation where they'll take him unless. There's no unless. They're committed to going after him, and if he wants to be a Sooner, they'd love to have him on board.
CJ Sooner in Florida says, Bathurst, a high motor, high football IQ gym rat?
Yes, indeed.
Yes,
Lunch
and
pail
yes.
guy. Incredible work ethic. Coach on the field.
Okay, I don't know about that part. You don't really slap that label on a defensive end all the time. But no, he does have a high motor. He's got really good IQ, by the way. He's been well coached. And he looks like he's a gym rat. I don't know how you look like him and not be a gym rat. That's all stuff that pops out on tape right
His
there.
dad's a retired Navy SEAL.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Thumbs up. Yep. Go get him. Got those Navy SEAL genetics. That'll play. A 918 listener asks, can you explain how some of the kids can enroll early? Do some schools have different graduating timelines? Basically, the way it works is usually if you take a couple of summer courses or just load up your schedule for a couple semesters over the course of your high school career, you can graduate a semester early. You can graduate in December. It's not all that difficult to accomplish. I remember when I was in high school, I think I could have graduated early. I didn't want to, because who does unless you're going to play college sports somewhere high level at that. I enjoyed my high school experience. I wanted to have a full 4 years of it. And Samuel Masigo is a great example of a guy that was going to play football at a high level, but he wanted to soak up his time in high school, could have graduated early, chose not to. These days, more and more guys are choosing to graduate early and get their degree in December, or their diploma in December, and then enroll in January so they get the benefit of that extra spring to go through practice with their program of choice.
And it's also a product of good planning, too, because at that age, by the time you get to having that kind of conversation, you know whether or not you're going to be a Division I FBS football player. So at that point, it just becomes easier to plan it out.
A 918 listener says, so you're encouraging everyone to conform to the world by cursing? Crying emoji. May God bless you all. Double prayer hands emoji. It was a joke. It was a joke, sir.
I still have never heard Parker say a non-FCC approved word, by the way.
It was a joke. I'm not actually encouraging people to swear like a champion. It's all a bit. This is sports radio. Hawaiian Sooner asks, is Dane Bathurst sneaky athletic, or does he have a little wiggle to him? No. Wiggle is reserved for skill position offensive players. But yes, Dane Bathurst is certainly sneaky athletic.
Okay, hold on. Okay, hang on here. Because I think the sneaky athletic has gone a little bit too far. Sneaky athletic does not encompass every single white athlete.
No, it does.
No. Like there are some white athletes that you're like, oh yeah, that dude's athletic. But then there are those who you don't look at. They're probably like borderline 6 foot, maybe 5'10", don't have an impressive physique, and all of a sudden they're jumping out the gym.
Ladd McConkey.
Ladd McConkey is a very good analogy of that.
Athletic.
Yes, he is sneaky athletic, but Dane Bathurst is 6'3", 240 pounds. That dude is not getting sneaky athletic.
I considered myself sneaky athletic once upon a time. Now I'm just an over-the-hill regular adult, bloviating on the radio for 3 hours a day. And hey, guess what? We're going to do it all again tomorrow, folks. I'll be on the road to Alabama for this show, so it'll sound a little different. But it'll no doubt be a ton of fun. It always is here on Locked In. For today, though, we are done. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. We'll turn it over to Tyler and Ted coming up next. The Rush is on deck. This is The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.